How can I let you understand that sourdough is not a flavor? I think all day about how can I tell my audience, you, the sourdough is not a flavor, but it is actually a method. Sourdough is a method? Well, I think that the best way to show you and to let you understand the sourdough is a method is by showing. In the last year or so, I made over 100 videos showing you the different types of breads and preparation that I could do with sourdough. But why do I wanna reiterate this basic information? I think it's very important for me that you understand that sourdough doesn't have to be sour. Sourdough is not meant to be sour. Sourdough, it's erroneously called sourdough. Why am I a firm believer of this? I am a firm believer of this because in Italy, we don't call it pasta acida, which is actually sourdough. We call it mother yeast, which translated in Italian would be lievito madre. And just the meaning of these two words give proof to my theory. Mother yeast, the yeast and the mother of the yeast, the ingredient that we need to levain the bread, to rise the bread, any product that needs fermentation. So, if this is not enough, I also have other proof. History, for example. Bread is proven to be baked since the Egyptian times. And we are talking about roughly 8,000 years ago, which is not yesterday, which is not the beginning of the 19th century either. It's 8,000 years ago. Baker's yeast at that time wasn't even known, wasn't even thought about. Baker's yeast is just a recent ingredient, the late 18th century and the beginning of the 19th century. That's the time when it started to be introduced. Before then, some bakers have tried to do bread with yeast coming as a residual of beer making. That's why in Italy we also have beer yeast that we use in our baking. But said that, I really want to emphasize the fact that since the 1850, we didn't have any baker's yeast in our houses, in our bakeries, in our industries. Before then, everything, even panettone and pandoro that are aged the 1450, were made with sourdough culture. Pizza was made with sourdough culture. Bread was made with sourdough culture. Croissants that are dated, the first one from Austria, 1853, were made with sourdough culture. So I hope that this makes you think and makes you understand that I think sourdough shouldn't be called sour because it actually drives your belief of bread into an acidic bread. Yes, it's slightly delicious, but I don't think that the acidity in bread is what actually identifies the sourdough name. Call it sour bread, not sourdough. So please, let's start calling sourdough mother yeast. Let's start a movement of understanding that sourdough is a method, not a flavor. When it becomes a flavor, I think it's just over fermented and happen to be light. But is it really good for us when it's so acidic? I don't know. I have friends of mine that unfortunately can't handle the sourdough bread because it's too sour. I have children that don't like the bread super sour either. So how can we fix that? Well, sourdough doesn't have to be sour. The mother yeast doesn't have to be sour. If it's fed often, if it's fed with a good amount of flour in relation to the amount of starter, you will be able to have a mild starter, which is the most important thing. So, to conclude and to take you and continue on this journey with me, let's start calling it mother yeast. Hope that was clear. If you haven't understood what I'm saying and what I'm talking about, or why I believe this, please write a comment below. If you agree with me, press the like button. If you disagree, subscribe. That was a good catch. But if you agree with me, do both. Subscribe and like. Because sourdough should be called mother yeast. Ciao.